half of the first inning last night, giving the Dodgers their only lead of the series. But it didn't last long, as the Braves came back with two in the bottom half of the first without hitting the ball out of the infield. Yasiel Puig's fifth home run of the season would even the score in the second, but that didn't last long either. Nor did Brett Anderson's evening, because an inning later, Anderson's misstep and misplay damaged his left Achilles and left the Dodgers another starter short. But along the way, Chin-Wei Sao doubled in the fifth in his first at-bat in 12 years. And Yasiel Puig unleashed a Puig throw 1 inning later. But when all was said and done, it was a very frustrating night for the Dodgers, who had no time to dwell on it, because it's a getaway day matinee coming up next from Atlanta. It's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from Turner Field in Atlanta, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves in the final game of this 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, Nomar Garcia-Parr. A couple of notes about the Dodgers and their roster. A, Brett Anderson showed up for work today feeling better than he thought, feeling better than the Dodgers expected. Now, whether or not he's going to be able to go on Sunday is still an iffy proposition. Adam Libator has been sent out. Ian Thomas has been called up. Story today, as far as the pitching is concerned, Mike Bolsinger, and the Dodgers need some length out of him.
Yeah, his last outing, he was cut short because of the lights going out, but at the beginning of this year, he was pitching for himself, and he was lights out. The curveball was outstanding. The fastball was good in location, but right now, the Dodger rotation has issues, and they do not need Mike Bolsinger to be another issue. That outing was cut short by the lights, but nothing else will get cut short by the lights, and they've got a new left fielder now.
They do. Carl Crawford is back off the DL. He missed 75 games. It was good that he got in last night. He pinch ran, got in the outfield, just kind of getting his feet wet. But let's not forget, when Carl Crawford is swinging the bat well, he's one of the top offensive threats in Major League Baseball. And the one thing he also brings to this Dodger lineup, and that is speed, something they haven't shown much of all year long. Dynamic player. Hopefully he brings some excitement back to the Dodgers.
So it's going to be Mike Bolsinger going for the Dodgers, Julio Teheran for the Braves. We'll be back with the lineups and first pitch right after this. presented the lineup card out at the home plate area to umpire Bill Welke calling balls and strikes. And so the lineup that he presented to the umpires, brought to you by Honda, includes Jock Peterson in center field. Then Howie Kendrick and Adrian Gonzalez. Andre Ethier in right field, and Yasmani Grandal will be behind the plate. Carl Crawford in his first start since the end of April in left. Cayaspo at third base. Rollins at shortstop. Bolsinger pitching and batting ninth. Of course, Mattingly was thrown out of the game last night, arguing balls and strikes with then home plate umpire James Hoy. The Dodgers are going to be facing the hard-throwing right-hander, 24-year-old Julio Teheran, making his 20th start of the year.
Well, Teheran faced the Dodgers last May, and in that outing, he only went 4 1/3, giving up 8 earned runs on 10 hits. You know, the one thing about Teheran, he throws hard. He has a sharp slider, kind of a swing and miss slider as a put-away pitch. But this year's having a little trouble with his command. Has 42 base on balls, which are tied for 9th most in Major League Baseball. And he's also been susceptible to the home run, the long ball, where he has given up 16 home runs, which is tied for 8th most in the NL.
Statistically, he has been far better at home this year than on the road. Here at Turner Field, Teheran 5-0 and a 2.18 ERA. Away from here, 1 up, 4 down, and an ERA of nearly 7. So the Dodgers begin the day 2.5 in front of the Giants. The Giants continue to be red hot. They've won 7 of their last 8. They play in San Diego later this afternoon. Matt Cain and James Shields. So the Dodgers 2.5 in front of San Francisco, 8.5 in front of the Padres and Diamondbacks, 11.5 games behind the Colorado Rockies. The Braves at 45 and 49 have won 10 of their last 14 at home. They trail the Nationals by 6. Washington and the Mets are wrapping it up at Nationals Park about 20 minutes from now. And after this game, the Dodgers will head north to New York for a 4-game series. Freddie Gonzalez and his club in a middle of transition, but they like the way things are going here. They have no designs of necessarily winning the pennant this year, maybe even not next, but they're beginning to put the pieces in place, Oral, and they like the direction they're heading.
They sure do like the direction they're heading, and they're under a veteran who has put clubs together before and rebuilt clubs in John Hart. And since John has come on board, he has made some huge moves, the biggest one being Kimbrel going to San Diego and getting rid of the Upton brothers. But they like what they've got in right field in Markakis. They like what they see in some young guys up the middle, and they're going to continue to look for pieces over the next year and a half or so.
Well, we saw the young pitcher Whistler on Monday night, and of course Maben enjoying the best year of his career, starting in center field for Atlanta. So we're underway, and here's Jock Peterson at 227. 20 home runs and 40 runs batted in. They play him to pull, but not the full-fledged shift. 2 balls and no strikes. 87 degrees, humidity of 55%. And they say 15% chance of rain, which means it's, by Atlanta standards, in the middle of the summer, it's practically a drought. Here's a 2-0. 2 balls and 1 strike to Peterson, with Kendrick on deck and Adrian Gonzalez to follow. Teheran out of Colombia delivers high and away, 3-1. 113 innings, 42 walks, 91 strikeouts. On the year, 6-4 and an ERA of about 4.5.
Figures lie and liars figure. You talked about his home dominance, but during the game he's gotten hit around. He's 7-11 in his career and a 4.20, so he needs to wake up. He likes the nighttime. We'll see which statistic comes true today.
No, right? You're like going, okay, effective at home. Wait, but during the day he struggles. It's, you know what? Play the game.
So Peterson been among the league leaders in walks and strikeouts all year. 113 strikeouts, the most in the league. 114. Defensively behind Teheran this afternoon, Uribe gets the afternoon off, so it's Chris Jansen at third base, Andrelton Simmons at short, Jace Peterson at second base, Kelly Johnson is at first, Yuri Perez in left, Cameron Maben and Nick Markakis in the outfield, and the veteran A.J. Brzezinski is behind the plate as Howie Kendrick steps in. Kendrick at 294. He's now among the league leaders in base hits. Adrian Gonzalez is on deck. Dodgers don't play another game in the National League West until the end of August. Next 34 games outside the Western Division. And Mattingly's club now, the lead is shrunk to 2.5. They do well against the Padres, Rockies, and Diamondbacks. Bit of an issue against everybody else.
When your ball club is healthy and doing well, you rarely look at the standings. You just know you're going to be able to take care of yourself. I think right now is you're kind of glancing over your shoulder after what happened with Brett Anderson, about looking for how we're going to fill the rotation, the rickety bridge, as you've described, Charlie, to try and get the Kenley Jansen in the bullpen.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones bridge has been an issue for the past couple of months. Adam Libator sent out today. Ian Thomas has been brought up. Here's the 0-2. Since the middle of May, when Kenley Jansen returned, the Dodger bullpen's ERA is .455. That's 15th, dead last in the National League. And you take away Kenley Jansen's numbers, the other group has an ERA of 4.9. So it's become an issue. Now the 0-2. Blowing outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, 4.9 means if they're going to pitch 2 to 3 innings, get to the end of the game, which they usually have to do when Kershaw or Greinke are not starting. You're talking about if it's a 1-run game or a tie game, that it's either going to be tied or you're behind.
Here's the 1-2. Kendrick down on strikes.
That's a devastating slider when he throws it right. It looks like that 93, 94 mile an hour fastball, and then just dives out. Check out where the glove is, see where it starts, and it's late, and it's from a low arm angle, which you don't expect the depth from. That takes tremendous hand discipline to have your arm slightly lower in that low 3/4 slot and still make the ball go down.
And it has such a tight spin on the ball.
Hard to recognize.
Yeah,
huh?
and when he's throwing strikes with his fastball, it makes that pitch even more devastating.
2 out, nobody on, top half of the first. Right after the game, the Dodgers get on the charter and fly to New York. 4-game series with the Mets. Gonzalez fouls it back. It's 0-1.
Rarely do you go to New York to catch up on your sleep.
Well, this is quite a turnaround. Of course, the Dodgers began the trip in Washington. 3 here in Atlanta, but day game after night game starting an hour earlier than usual. So the first bus left the hotel this morning at 7:30. Got back to the hotel, what, about 11:30 last night.
And it's not like, oh, you're tired, you can go right to bed when you're a player. I mean, Nomar, you can talk about it, but you still have that adrenaline from the game.
To right field, well hit, but well fouled.
It takes a while to come down from a game. A win, a loss, doesn't matter. It's taking you a while to just kind of relax, regroup, gather yourself, thoughts in your heads.
For me, you know, if I pitched last night, if I'd have been Brett Anderson and I'd pitched the 6-7 innings and, you know, get a win and you're excited, I might see the sunrise here and be coming in to do my workout without have had any sleep. Just hard to gear down.
1-2 to Gonzalez. Did he go around? Yep. So Tehran's brought his A game in the first inning, striking out the side. Mike Bolsinger getting ready for his 15th start of the year. He'll be facing Jace Peterson, Cameron Maben, and Nick Markakis when we come back. with the Atlanta Braves. And this is the lineup he has put together on this Wednesday matinee. Jace Peterson, Cameron Maybin, and Nick Markakis. Kelly Jansen getting the start at first base. Third game of the series, third different first baseman for Atlanta. Chris Johnson at third. Uribe's got the afternoon off. Brzezinski, Perez, and Simmons, and Julio Teheran pitching and batting ninth against 27-year-old right-hander Mike Bolsinger.
And Mike's got to block out a lot of stuff right now. I think he's pitching for the team. He used to be pitching for a spot in the rotation. Now he's in the rotation, but all the issues that are going on, from innings eater to protect the bullpen to avoiding the sweep to just stabilizing and not being a factor, or something else that the management has to worry about. He needs a nice, clean, solid outing to kind of stabilize this team.
Well, 6 months ago he was an afterthought. Now all of a sudden, with the injury to Brett Anderson, again the severity of which we do not know as yet, he's the number 3 starter. Here's Anderson. He had an MRI this morning. Said he felt better than he thought he would. Dodgers felt better about what they expected this morning than what they had anticipated last night. Can he go on Sunday? Anybody's guess at this point. Peterson with a ground ball. Backhanded stab, a diving beauty by Kendrick. One out and nobody on. Howie Kendrick turns in a spectacular play.
Well, we talk about getting sleep at night. Looks like Howie got some sleep. Got a tremendous jump here on this ball. Dives, shows off his athleticism, and makes a great play. Definitely worthy of a Carl's Cam replay. I know Bolsinger appreciates that.
In Peterson's first at-bat on Monday night, he was robbed by Howie Kendrick, so he's been down that road before. Cameron Maybin stepping in. Maybin at 283, 8 home runs and 44 runs batted in. Markakis on deck. Strike on the outside corner. Bill Welke is calling balls and strikes this afternoon. Younger brother of Tim. He's 47. There's a line drive base hit into center field. So the Kendrick play robbing Peterson looms large early.
And that play at second base calms your nerves on the mound a little bit. Then you give up the hit right here. Now just one pitch away from a double play getting out of it because of Howie Kendrick's excellence.
Nick Markakis coming up. He's been terrific in the first 2 games of this series and has had a very solid year. Only 1 home run at 14 last year, but it seems like he's on base all the time. 2 for 4 last night, home run and a double on Monday night, and he has been on base this year more than anybody this side of Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, and Andrew McCutchen.
You have to be very aware of Cameron Maybin over there at first base because he's got 16 stolen bases for the year.
Up high, 1 ball, no strikes.
Nick Markakis has got a lot of Adrian Gonzalez in him in the batter's box. Very calm, like very poised. Looks like he's got an idea of what the pitcher's going to try and do. The way he kind of waggles the bat over his shoulder.
Slightly open stance there. In Baltimore, he was using a much heavier bat. Brian Roberts said, why don't you try a lighter bat? It's 31 ounces, and he has really flourished ever since. Grandal throwing out would-be base dealers this year, 25%, 13 of 52. And Maybin leading off first has stolen 16 out of 20. Slowly hit. There's 1 and 2. A lot of spin on the ball. Kendrick made it look easy. Rollins to Gonzalez. That's that. No runs and a hit. No score as we head to the second. will be facing Andre Ethier, Yasmani Grandal, and Carl Crawford. Weather-wise, we're actually catching a break. On Sunday in Washington, it was the hottest day of the year for the Dodgers. Heat index of over 110 degrees. First night here, 98 heat index. 89 last night. It's a reasonably comfortable 87 on this Wednesday afternoon matinee. And a lot of fans in attendance. So Ethier to lead it off. 10 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Ethier starting in right field this afternoon. Puig has the day off. No balls and one strike to Andre Ethier. Dodgers this year have fared better against right-handed starters than lefties. Against righties, the Dodgers are 45-32. And as a team, they have hit 100 of their 118 home runs against right-handed pitching. Tehran has surrendered 16. 0-2 to Ethier as we begin the second inning. Well, he's faced 4 batters and blown them away. What's he doing, Oral?
He's throwing it really hard and in really good spots, and in the back of their mind they know about the devastating slider, but right now they just got to hit the old number 1.
19 pitches and 14 of them for strikes. Here's Grandal. Pitch hit the last couple of games because he took one in the mask a couple of days back in Washington, and at first they thought he might have broken his jaw. Well, this time of year nobody's healthy anyway. It's just the degree of discomfort and pain and injury.
He definitely took a blow. Oh my goodness.
2 balls and no strikes to Grandal with Crawford on deck. Three balls, no strikes. The Dodgers have yet to put the ball in play.
See if Grandal thinks about swinging 3-0 here. I know you're looking at base runners, but at the same time, you also have a guy who's just struck out the 4 previous batters, so he's been throwing strikes.
So what are you inclined to do as a hitter?
I'm looking in one spot, especially that fastball. And if he gives it to me, I'm swinging. It was a strike, but it wasn't a good pitch. It wasn't something that you were thinking about that you can drive in your wheelhouse. So
now it's 3-1. And now 3-2.
That's the other thing that Tehran's been able to do early in this game is when they're swinging at the fastballs, the Dodgers have been fouling them off. They haven't been able to square it up. And sometimes just like that, you hit fastball, you foul it off, and then you're going, okay, if I get another one after that swing yourself, you feel what you did wrong and possibly being able to make an adjustment if you get it again.
On 3-2. Whack off the glove of Jansen into short right field for a base hit. A rocket shot off the bat of Yasmani Grandal, the first base runner of the day for the Dodgers. That goes as a base hit.
Yeah, that was definitely a rocket. Came on the inner half. We were just talking about the pitch before. He fouls off, fouls back. Sometimes that just tells you, okay, with the slight adjustment I need to make, maybe I swung underneath it just a little bit. Maybe I got to do more top hand. Maybe keep the front shoulder. It is whatever it is. You make a mental note, and you get the fastball again, and he squares that ball up and crushes it.
Well, it's been a long time for Carl Crawford. Pinch hit last night, got a little bit of the rust off, and so while his stats say he's 245 with a home run and 3 runs batted in, He's essentially starting the season all over again. He didn't just pull his oblique, he tore it off the bone. So he missed 2.5 months. Fouls it back, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, you're right, Charlie. When you're out that long and you have an injury like that and it takes that long to heal, this is a whole new season right now. You pretty much had to go through all spring train, a very modified, quick spring training all over again to get yourself ready to come back and play.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a trade the Dodgers didn't have to make. You know, when he gets healthy, you're adding a high quality player without having to give anything up.
And once again, the Dodgers now have 5 outfielders. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1-2. So on this Wednesday afternoon, Puig and Van Slyke are watching. Crawford, Peterson, and Ethier are playing.
Well, guys are back to competing for playing time, and that gives you a little bit more focus. And who wouldn't want to compete for playing time and win that job on a daily basis on a possible playoff team? This is when it's the most fun to play baseball down the stretch.
That is the 5th strikeout for Tehran. 2 out, nobody on in the second.
Speed him up with the fastball and finish him off with the breaking ball sometimes. Again, it was devastating to a righty, and it's even devastating to a lefty. With a lefty, you got to make sure you get it down and on that back foot, because that can be right in their sweet spot, and Tehran did a great job locating that pitch.
All 5 outs have been strikeouts. Callaspo with the Dodgers hitting .250. Takes high. For Callaspo, this is his 16th start. Four doubles, 4 RBIs. Grandal a short lead. Tehran falls behind 2-0. Tehran just 24. Falls behind 3-0. Tehran was discovered by the Braves in 2007, signed as a non-drafted free agent. Finally got a taste of the major leagues 4 years later. And a 4-pitch walk to Callaspo. 2 on, 2 out. Rollins coming up.
Tehran goes from blowing people away and being real confident in the strike zone to nibbling low and away to, and even high and away to a guy who really can't hurt him with power. So if you're on the Atlanta Braves side, you're saying, look, just try and knock the bat out of Alberto Callaspo's hand. Go strength against strength.
Jimmy Rollins down to 204, 8 home runs and 29 runs batted in. So Grandal at second, Callaspo at first. Neither particularly fast. No score, 2 out, top of the second. And now all of a sudden Tehran finding difficulty finding the plate. He has struck out 5 and he's thrown 5 balls in a row now. There's Grandal at second, Callaspo at first. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jimmy Rollins. Now 37.
A.J. Pierzynski, veteran catcher, back there trying to get him back in rhythm by calling that changeup right there in a 1-0 count after the walk to the 7-hitter.
Two balls and a strike.
Well, Jimmy has had the most career at bats versus Tehran of the Dodgers, has 25 coming into today, and he does have 1 home run off of him.
Of course, he saw him quite a bit in the Eastern Division. All those years with the Phillies. Tehran, career record of 29-22. And Grandal nearly picked off.
I'm going to try and take a little time right here. Andrelton Simmons thinks maybe they had a shot at him, so A.J. Brzezinski to come out. We're going to have a little fake meeting to delay.
Carlos Tosca on the phone, and looks like there may be a replay coming up.
They may have gotten him.
Yeah, even though we don't have the clean look right there from that angle, the
may have gotten him on the head. Yeah. Helmet or shoulder before that hand gets back in there.
Bill Welke with chest protector, and John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, who made the call. Initially up here, I thought he was out. Of course, we don't get a vote in that.
He's out. And the replay we just saw here on the big screen.
So a couple of veteran umpires. Welke in his 17th big league season. Hirschbeck corrects his call. Grandal picked off, and that ends the inning. No runs, one hit, and one man left. Kelly Johnson, Chris Johnson, A.J. Brzezinski to bat for the Braves in the bottom of the second. Washington Nationals and pick up your Fernando Valenzuela pin, the 5th in the Cy Young Pin Collectors Series presented by 76. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Usually these replays take about 90 seconds or so to confirm or overturn. This one took well under a minute. Wasn't much doubt about it. Grandal picked off. Andrelton Simmons coming in from the blind side, and Tehran threw a strike. Kelly Johnson leads it off for the Braves here in the bottom half of the second inning. Mike Bolsinger, Laura was mentioning, a lot of responsibilities on that 27-year-old right shoulder today.
You come into spring training with a wing and a prayer, hoping to make a club, finally get to the big leagues, get into the rotation.
Now it's up to that right wing.
Battling just to stay in the rotation at first and make an impression. Then things start to go really well for you. Mike Bolsinger had an ERA in his first 6-7 starts down in the low ones. There it is, first 5, 1.15.
McCarthy made only 4 starts. Ryu made none. And again, we're not sure about the availability of Brett Anderson. Sunday or beyond. Drilled into the right field corner. Jansen takes the big turn. Ethier cuts it off, holds him to a single.
The third different first baseman for the Atlanta Braves in 3 games, and he leads it off with a single here in the bottom of the second.
Jansen, this is his second stint. Kelly Jansen, that is, with Atlanta. And here's Chris Jansen, who had been the third baseman, had been struggling. Then they pick up Uribe. And for the most part, Chris Jansen has been a silent partner lately. Talking in the paper, in fact, this morning about maybe better for him if he was traded and played somewhere else. Last night, though, he had 3 hits in 4 at-bats. And knocked in 2.
He's doing his part to raise his trade value for John Hart. Vocalizing it and swinging the bat.
High and in. Well, there are going to be an awful lot of rumors over the next 9 days. The Mets have to figure out what are they going to do about third base. David Wright with the back. Will he be back? And if so, what kind of shape will he be in if and when he returns? Slice to right and out of play.
I worked for John Hart in Texas as his associate general manager and then as his pitching coach for 3.5 years. A fine man, but I will tell you this, that he's not texting and emailing other GMs. He's on the phone. He's the gray-haired GM now. He's not the modern-day GM. And John's probably done a trade on a napkin in a bar with some Grey Goose in front of him.
Now the 2-2 swung on him. Missed strike 3. So Bolsinger with the breaking ball and his first strikeout of the game.
Sharp and late. It's not the big slow one. It's one that looks like the fastball. It's really, that's his slider / cutter / hard curveball. He really, you cannot define his pitches according to what it's about to do, exactly what the fingers are. He's inventing it and visualizing it as he goes along. What he did the last pitch, what does he want to do? Take a little off, make it look level, make it look big.
A.J. Pierzynski takes a strike. Well, he certainly has gotten around. 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Slowly hit to second. Kendrick. Wow, that was something.
That was what a play by Howie Kendrick.
Degree of difficulty?
Oh, right.
Off the charts.
Yes. So high. One to come up with this ball. You come up to it, you're like, okay, easy play, and you're thinking the easy is just to go to first base because a runner just goes by you. But then you got to spin around, and you're going into the runner, the line of sight behind him, and you have to make a good throw to your shortstop to make it easy on Jimmy Rollins. He does all of this while spinning around.
And it was a perfect throw up.
Yeah, and it wasn't about turning the double play. It was obviously just about getting that lead runner.
And for my next trick.
Yeah.
Now here's Yuri Perez. He's had a good series. Takes a strike and it's 0-1. Those are the things about Howie Kendrick. And again, he's got the 6th most hits in the National League. He's made a couple of spectacular plays in this series alone. And that one there, making the difficult look easy.
Well, when the trade was made that D. Gordon was leaving, I, for one, and I know there's some opinions up here that probably agree with me, we're like, why? And D looked like he was really coming along at second base. It was not a problem at second. It really looked, maybe finding a defensive partner for him would have really put him over the top.
Perez takes a strike.
But Howie, over this year and watching him day in and day out, things like that, you start to understand the next level of second baseman that he is.
On the defensive side, and then if you take his offensive side and his approach at the plate, the at-bats he has.
So Bolsinger strikes out Perez. Braves get a leadoff hit, leave one. We go to the third. Rollins, Bolsinger, and Peterson coming up. SNLA Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast brought to you by T-Mobile. On the summer Wednesday matinee here at Turner Field in Atlanta, we've got ourselves a pitcher's duel. The Dodgers have one hit and the Braves have two. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off, then Mike Bolsinger and Jock Peterson. Last year, the Dodgers beat the Braves 6 out of 7. And the Dodgers, with a win today, will finish up the season series with Atlanta this year at 3-3. Dodgers have lost 2 in a row. They have not lost 3 straight since the middle of June. They want to get out of town feeling better about themselves as they head to New York for 4. Rollins takes a curve. 1 ball, no strikes. It was a deflated clubhouse after the game last night on the bus ride back to the hotel. Losing a 1-run affair and then losing Brett Anderson to boot. Then they get back to the hotel and find out the Giants won again. The Dodgers, this is their 96th game of the season. Rollins to left. A sparsely populated Turner Field. Last night 33,000. Monday night 24,000. There are the Dodgers and the Giants, who will face one another again not until the end of August. Dodgers still have 34 games before they get back to Western Division play. Bolsinger swings and misses. Mike is 1 for 27. It's all right. Jin Wei Sao is 1 for 12 years. How about that last night?
That was a big one, though.
It was two for 12 years. He got the other hit off of Hampton to start that 12-year string. Can't rip him off from one hit.
Hampton, of course, the great left-hander in Atlanta, and signed the big deal in Colorado. Didn't work out. Then Hampton became injury-prone. And Bolsinger has been struck out for the 15th time in 28 at-bats, and for Tehran, his 6th strikeout of the game. Two out, nobody on, and Jock Peterson coming up. Peterson a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. Scoreless with 2 out in the top half of the 3rd. There's a strike.
Okay, he gets that pitch going. He's going to be real tough to hit today. Hit the 4-seamer when he's in the strike zone. The 2-seamer, he's been kind of running off the edge to the left. He's not really pitching confidently with it. That one was one of the best ones he's thrown. He got the devastating slider, and then that 71-mile-an-hour kind of little dewdrop curveball. He's trying to do his best Zach Greinke imitation.
That's not easy these days. No balls, 2 strikes. Peterson down on strike. 7 strikeouts for Julio Tehran in his first 3 innings of work. Simmons, Tehran, and Peterson to bat for Atlanta when we come back for the bottom of the 3rd. The 2015 Jeep Cherokee. With an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG, it's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. And by Flex Alert. This summer, the power is in your hands. Visit flexalert.org. You know, the other night we were talking about Justin Turner and his high leg kick. Now thinking back to some of the great pitchers with the big high leg kick. Of course, Warren Spahn here in Atlanta. You had Marichal, Koufax. You don't see that much anymore.
When they lowered the mound in 1968, it took away a lot of the angles you could use as a pitcher to get back to throwing the ball in the strike zone. So when the slope was so drastic, you could actually angle and kick your leg really high, and then the slope of the mound would bring you back down into the strike zone. Well, now that the mound's flatter, you had to flatten out your angles, or you'd feel like you're throwing uphill. You can't. Actually, I felt like you could only tilt as much as the mound will take back away.
Andrelton Simmons on 0-2. Bolsinger hits the target, but misses outside. Not even Peterson can get that dewdrop in. So a leadoff single for Andrelton Simmons.
It's a big single for Atlanta because it allows Tehran to go up there and do what he's supposed to do as a pitcher and just move him along with a bunt instead of having a possible easy inning when you're a starting pitcher or reliever and you get that 8th hitter out. All of a sudden you feel like you're going to breeze through it, and all of a sudden it turns into a pressure inning.
Tehran with 7 sacrifice bunts this year. Rolls foul.
Not a big fan of batting the ball. All of a sudden the umpire just makes a bad call, even though your eyes are right on top of it and you see it's foul, but you swat it away and say the umpire calls it fair. You got to go chase the ball over in the other dugout. Watch Yasmani Grandal. He does a nice job hopping out from behind the plate, reading this, but he's blocking out the home plate umpire with his legs and his hand as it goes down. So swatting that ball away.
Yeah, the umpire might say, "Oh, it was still on the line."
Yeah, I get really scared when I see that. It's like, just reach down and pick it up.
Tehran is second in the league in sacrifice bunts. Billy Hamilton and Dan Herron have 8. No score. We're in the bottom half of the 3rd. The 31st pitch from Bolsinger.
I know what you're saying. You're not a big fan of that. But now instant replay is a little bit different because you're going, oh.
Why take the risk?
I hear you. Just, and I know what you're talking about in the past, but now it's like, oh, it was foul. We can go check it to make sure it was, even if he calls it fair.
I am a big fan of the way Callaspo's playing third base right now, though. Get down his throat and force him to do that.
Yeah.
When I was on the mound and I wanted my third baseman to really come down the pitcher's throat like this, I'd always bring him over and say, look, I'm going to throw a pitch that protects you. I'm not going to throw some off-speed, low and away curveball that he can hook and take your teeth out.
Right.
I'm going to throw a high cutter away. So if he pulls back, he's going to have a tough time pulling the ball.
That's where you're a rarity, because not many pitchers do that and figure that out to protect the guy.
Don't worry, I got your front.
Yep.
Yeah. Same thing with the first baseman. If we're going to play the charge play with Adrian Gonzalez, which we don't very much because he's not very fleet of foot, but when you have a first baseman that's got some wheels and an arm, you will overcharge the first baseman sometimes, and you want to throw the correct pitch if he's going to be the charger to not allow the hitter to hit him in the teeth.
Simmons with the lead at first. Tehran's going to swing away. Followed by Rollins, and everybody's safe.
That's just unlucky right there. I mean, it goes from a double play to nobody out here. He pulls that bat back. Jimmy has a beat on it, gets up there and just can't hang on. Not only can he not hang on, he can't find the ball, get the grip on it. I think he just took a little peek at Tehran right here before he got the ball fully and was unable to come up with any play.
Bad karma for the Dodgers here in the 3rd. A bloop single for Simmons. And a ball that pops out of the glove of Jimmy Rollins. If he makes the easy catch, Simmons was already at second base. So that was a can of corn double play.
Yeah, that could have been a 6U double play. He could have done that unassisted, just kind of walked over and just tagged out Simmons without any throw.
Jace Peterson looking at the sign from Bo Porter. From the been there, done that department, the Arco top tier play. This is on Monday night. First play of the game. Peterson robbed by Howie Kendrick. Been down this road before. This was this afternoon. Peterson thinking, what do I have to do to get it past Howie Kendrick?
Should be thinking, don't hit it there again.
If it hurts when I do this, don't do this. Well, the Dodgers defensively have made the fewest errors in the league. And Howie Kendrick at his spot has been among the league leaders. Perfect bunt laid down by Peterson. So now the Braves have second and third with one out.
There was a miscue or miscommunication on that bunt because Callaspo was charging, but Jimmy Rollins was also breaking to third base. So with the ball back there, you're thinking, okay, he can turn and go to third, recognizing that it's almost a wheel play. But he didn't. He had to go to first. You see, watch Jimmy there. He kind of sees the bunt, but Jimmy definitely gets there late. Okay, there was no wheel play. He just ended up there later. So that was the right play. That's all Callaspo could do.
Second and third, Dodgers playing the infield back for Cameron Maybin.
Because usually on that play, you don't see the shortstop over there. Usually what you see on that bunt is the shortstop just goes to second. And the second baseman goes to first as the first baseman's crashing, so you just leave third alone.
1-0 to Maybin, single to center in his first at-bat. Bolsinger delivers a strike. Markakis on deck. It's 1-2.
Dodgers playing their infield back, going to sacrifice the run here with one out. A few different reasons for that early in the game, but also wanting to get some length out of Mike Bolsinger. So that playing the infield back actually protects your bullpen a little bit.
And of course, you bring the infield in, the potential batting average goes up for a hitter, and the Dodgers don't want or need a big inning the way Tehran is throwing. Sliced foul and out of play.
You know, we're talking about the Dodger defense, which, as you mentioned, is first in the NL. They've had the low amount of errors, but this road trip, we haven't seen that solid defense. There's only been one game out of these 6 games so far played on this road trip where they've been airless. They've had an error in all the other ones. And a lot of those errors have costed them too. It's cost them a run.
No scores, second and third, one out, bottom of the third. Markakis next, and Kelly Jansen. And Bolsinger, as you see, 39 pitches. He has struck out 2. A bloop single, an error by Rollins, a sacrifice, and Bolsinger's in a jam. Just missing.
Outstanding pitch right there. For Mike Bolsinger's sequencing, this is pitching backwards because he's throwing the fastball or the cutter when he's ahead in the count, using it to spot up. Now after that pitch, you can double up with it, or you can throw the breaking ball in the dirt.
On 2-2. That's going to score a run. Rollins with the long throw, and it's dug out by Gonzalez. But in to score is Simmons, and Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead.
They go to the breaking ball. Mike doesn't get it to the outer half. It breaks sharp. It stays down and on the inside, so it gives Maybin a chance to get the barrel on it. Jimmy Rollins makes a nice strong throw, but really the other end of it right there with Adrian Gonzalez, a sweet scoop.
We've become so spoiled over the years since Gonzalez has come to the Dodgers. The ease with which he makes that scoop play. 2 out, and Nick Markakis replacing Jason Hayward in right field for Atlanta. Hayward, of course, has moved on to St. Louis. Hayward was kind enough to leave jersey number 22 behind. No balls and 2 strikes to Markakis, who bounced into a double play in his first at bat. A run and 3 hits for Atlanta. The Dodgers with 1 base hit.
Mike Bolsinger doing a nice job out there. Some of the best fastball and cutter location I've seen him have this year. Really, the pitch that has hurt him a little bit has been his breaking ball.
And that's his bread and butter normally.
Kind of left it up a little bit, give up one hit, and then right there, even though he had a 1-2 count and he got a ground ball out to short, he had a chance to squeak out of this inning with no runs if he could just throw one of his patented, really solid, sharp ones low and away. But ball backed up on him a little bit.
It's unfortunate that ball that bounced out of Jimmy Rollins' glove.
That too. Yep.
Here's the 1-2. That's a double play.
Yeah.
There would have been nobody on. So Atlanta with the 1-0 lead.
Well, when you're about to get swept with a 1-0 lead here, and you got some innings to catch up so it doesn't happen, there's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas in the series.
And for the Dodgers in the first 2 games, they were loaded with them.
There's been nothing but frustration in Atlanta here in the South.
Since Turner Field opened in 1997, the Dodgers are 28-40 here. Last year, though, they beat the Braves 3 out of 4, but it's not been enjoyable for the Dodgers over the years to come south. Turner Field opened for baseball in '97. On one hop, right at Kendrick, and that'll end the inning. No runs, a blue pit, a costly error. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead heading into the 4th with Kendrick, Gonzalez, and Ethier coming up. Bobblehead presented by Jack in the Box. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. So Julio Teheran, who is out on the base paths most of the bottom half of the 3rd inning, a little late in getting all of his warm-up tosses in. He has struck out to this point 7. His season high is 8. He's done it twice. His career high is 11. So of the first 10 batters he's faced here this afternoon, he struck out 7 of them.
Some of these dog day, hot days, Nomar, you'd be sitting on the bench as a starting pitcher, did it for a lot of years, and some days the whole lineup looks like they're swinging like the bat underwater, just a little slower. What's that? What does that feel like? How's that happen?
Well, it's easy how it happens. You play all these baseball games. You got fatigue that sets in, as you know. That's why they, you know what? That's why they call them the dog days. That's really the reason, because you're dragging a little bit, and your body's getting on that kind of on that edge where the transition of where it's going to be fatigue, and then it just becomes just adrenaline that pushes you through.
Howie Kendrick to lead off in the fourth. And by nature, we and they are nocturnal creatures. And here we are they are on very little sleep. Day after. It's hot. It's buggy. The Dodgers have lost a couple of frustrating games in a row. And they're down a run in the fourth.
The road trip started out feeling like, take 2 out of 3 in Washington. Here we go. We're going to Atlanta. We're playing a team that's kind of reeling, team we should beat up on, and lose the first 2 games the way we did. And here we are fighting to not get swept.
And Anderson gets hurt last night. Again, the severity of the injury we still don't know. They haven't ruled out the possibility he could pitch Sunday, but in that regard, nobody's saying nothing yet. You don't even know who's pitching Saturday.
Shuffle the deck, deal the cards. We're going to see which one comes out.
Right at Simmons. 1 out in the fourth. Well, General Manager Farhan Zaidi is with the club on the trip. Know that Clayton Kershaw is going tomorrow night against Bartolo Colon. Zach Greinke goes Friday against John Neese. Matt Harvey goes on Saturday. Jacob deGrom on Sunday for New York. And there's a fill in the blank for the Dodgers on Saturday and then again on Sunday. Gonzalez, a strikeout victim in his first at bat. One out, top of the fourth. Gonzalez has a 6-game hitting streak, hitting .458 over that period of time. 2 out.
So far, looking at Teheran, not only has he been doing a good job up until this point, but even this inning, your team gets you a run. You were actually out there. You were standing on the bases that inning, and then he comes back out here and gets 2 quick outs.
That was the thing that's marked the last 2 games for the Dodgers, the inability to get the shutdown inning after they either took a lead or would come back and get back into the game.
You got the first 2 guys out. Those are the 2 toughest hitters today.
Routinely, a grounder to short, and Gonzalez bounces back to the pitcher.
Well, another Dodger season where you look up and Andre Ethier was not probably supposed to be a contributing factor, and again, one of the main ingredients.
285, 10 home runs. Well hit to right, but there's Markakis. That's that. Dodgers have had 1 hit, 2 base runners so far. They trail 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Baseball Academy at Campo Las Palmas. Let's find out how winter ball helped Jock Peterson break into the big leagues. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers tomorrow at 8 o'clock right here on Sportsnet LA. Mike Bolsinger, 1 run and 3 base hits. Dodgers no runs and 1 hit. Bolsinger threw 24 pitches in the first 2 innings combined, 23 in the third. Kelly Jansen leads off for Atlanta here in the 4th. Chris Johnson, not related, and A.J. Pierzynski. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Kelly Johnson single to right in his first at-bat. One and one. Kelly Johnson signed as a minor league free agent in the offseason. Came up with Atlanta originally. Then on to Arizona and Toronto and Tampa Bay, briefly with the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Orioles. In his 11th big league season. Career .250 hitter. And it's 2-2. Born inside the Austin city limits and now lives in suburban Atlanta in Roswell. Bolsinger strikes him out. And for Mike, his 3rd strikeout, first out of the 4th.
Talked about the fastball, talked about the cutter. Breaking ball is solid today, but not its best effort. But Yasmani Grandal continues to force him to use the heater, and Mike is starting to respond. In his rough outings, he misses up and over the middle of the plate with that, or just misses completely. He's not convicted to throwing it and hitting spots with it. But today, he's hitting his spots and seems very convicted to follow Yasmani. Not a lot of head shaking. They're on the same page.
Chris Johnson, a strikeout victim in his first at bat. And it's 1-1. Chris came up with the Astros and to the D-backs, now in his 3rd season here in Atlanta, but he's getting a little cranky. Wants to play some more. Ethier.
Well, the way you combat a shutdown inning at Tehran is you go put one up yourself, a quick inning, and get your guys back in the dugout to swing in and try to put some on the board. So far, Bolsinger has done a good job getting those first 2 outs.
9-inning game was too long for me to concentrate. I had to break it down in sets of 3. So we lost the first set 1-0. This set of 3 innings right here coming up, the Dodgers can win this set. You're either going to be tied or up by a run or so. And you kind of go through the lineup that way too. How do I pitch these guys their first at bat? How do I do it the second at bat? How do I do it the third at bat? And so it broke it down not only for me to look at short-term thinking of I'm trying to win this set of innings, but how am I going to actually face the lineup this time through? What weapons am I going to use? What did I have working last set of innings? What do I got working now?
1 ball, 2 strikes to A.J. Pierzynski. Third round pick of the Twins in 1994.
I'm just doing the math. So I'm going, so you had about 20 sets for a while in your career of 3 innings that were pretty remarkable. But I'm just saying.
We did okay.
You know?
6 love, 6 love, 6 love, 6 love.
Wow. There's 20 of those in a row.
You Roger Federer, you.
They had a real good serve going. Mike is doing his job so far. I know they're down 1-0, but this could have been a real interesting day if he didn't get off to a good start.
Brzezinski, perfectly timed leap by Jimmy Rollins. Double humpback liner, and the inning is over. When we come back for the top of the fifth, Grandal, Crawford, and Callaspo will bat. ChooseNissan.com and by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. A tale of the tape through the first 4 innings. An unearned run separates the two, roughly the same number of pitches. The strikeouts for Tehran, all 7 came in the first 3 innings. The only hit he has given up to this point, Yasmani Grandal, single to right in the second, and it is Grandal leading it off here in the 5th.
The only time Tehran has needed an umpire is early in the count. All the strikeouts are swinging. Swing and miss.
Well, it's a good thing Brzezinski's there then.
Yeah.
So here's Grandal outside, and look, it's hot, it's humid, and on little sleep.
Captain Obvious. The good thing is there. It would hit the umpire.
1 ball, 1 strike to Grandal.
That corner's been wide today for the Dodgers. There's been some frustration last night. Don Mattingly getting kicked out.
Plenty of Dodger fans in attendance.
Was that synchronized drinking from the Dodger fans? Now we got synchronized fanning, synchronized laughing.
But the East German judge gives them only a 9.
Are they twins?
Well hit to right, and Markakis can't get it. That one was scalded directly over his head. And so Grandal with a double. He's got the only 2 hits of the day for the Dodgers. Oh, was that a rocket shot?
The hardest balls for outfielders, for infielders, are the balls hit right at you, because you got to be on the side to really judge the depth and the trajectory of it. And right off the bat, Nick Markakis doesn't get a good read on this. So you see him pause, and by then he had no chance, because that ball was hit so hard by Grandal. He gets an easy double.
Grandal's the only one who's really put the wood on the ball this afternoon. A scorching single off the glove of Kelly Jansen into right in his first at-bat. And this one a double over the head of Markakis. Now let's see if Crawford can advance the runner.
We talked about execution so far in this road trip. Dodgers, when they failed to execute, it's really cost them. We saw that in yesterday's game. They had an opportunity, first and second, nobody out, could have moved them over, especially when they were down by just 1.
Well, mission accomplished. Crawford retired. Grandal goes to third.
That's great for Carl Crawford because, you know, here you're getting back, just getting off the DL, getting back into the swing of things. And you want to be productive. You want to help, and here you have a productive out. And it's good to come back, get high fives in the dugout, way to do your job, feel positive.
Gets a little energy going.
It really does. That's, you know, we've talked about that, Charlie.
A little bit of subtle leadership too.
You're like, oh, don't bunt. Don't give up outs. Why would you sacrifice? Well, because there's an emotional part as well. There's that excitement that gets back in the dugout.
And it brings the infield in. Presumably gives Callaspo or any hitter a better chance. Bingo. So Grandal comes in after the double on the RBI single by Callaspo through the drawn-in infield, and the Dodgers and Braves are tied at 1.
Well executed offense right there.
That just fires you up as an offense in the dugout because, you know, Callaspo coming through, everybody jumps up in the dugout and is pointing at him. Way to go, way to pick him up. But the other thing they do is they give Carl Crawford another high five. Yep. They double up like, man, that was yours. Good job. See, that's what you did. And then they're high-fiving, obviously, Grandal coming in. It's just a good vibe in there. And now there's this, you know, you feel that momentum. Okay, can we keep it going?
Jimmy Rollins is the hitter. And there will be those who will break out the statistical spreadsheet and say, well, sacrifices get you X number of outs versus X number of runs. It depends on the situation.
Right.
Who's up? What kind of a game is it? What is the situation? What time of the ball game? For the Dodgers, it's a brand new game. Callaspo's at first, and Rollins takes high and outside.
I mean, you're exactly right, but when you're able to execute those little things, Charlie, you as a team, you feel like, well, we're playing the game right. You know, and right now we've seen the Dodgers, just some of these games, even in this series so far, they just haven't played solid or clean, and it hasn't felt that way. But when you execute, you're like, all right, there they go. This is better baseball.
Into right center field. That's well hit. Callaspo's on his horse. He is on his way to third. He is on his way home. There'll be no play. Rollins knocks him in, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. So, yes, energy.
A little bit of Mo on the Dodgers side. The first time they've had it here in Atlanta. They've crawled back to even with a home run from Gonzalez. Made a game 4-4, but then lost that lead. Well, here they turn this one around. Jimmy Rollins, a nice swing on a fastball away. Gets out there over the plate and pulls that into the gap. Callaspo knew right from the crack of the bat that he was off and running. He did not have to look if it was going to be caught or not. He had a great read and a great jump.
The other thing about the fifth inning here, Grandal hit it hard, Callaspo hit it hard, and Rollins hit it hard. Dodgers couldn't touch Tehran through the first 4 innings. Now Bolsinger, no balls and a strike.
You know, you see those innings where you're saying, well, hitting is contagious. It seems like a merry-go-round with everybody because the offense is like, well, I don't want to make the out. I don't want to make the out. But there's also just good at-bats are contagious as well. So even if like Carl Crawford making an out, but it was a good at-bat and it did something, it's carried over.
So the Dodgers with a lead. Until the 5th inning here, the Dodgers led for 1/2 inning in the first 2 games of the series. On the Turner home run last night, Atlanta would score 2, and the Dodgers now at long last have themselves a lead. Now it's going to be up to Bolsinger to maintain it, but not with the bat. That's the 8th strikeout for Tehran.
Another one swinging, went to his fastball and just said, I'm going to beat you pitcher on pitcher. You don't have anything that'll catch up with this. And he was right.
Well, Bolsinger has been to the plate 29 times this year, and that was the 16th time he's been struck out. So 2 out, and here comes Peterson, who himself has been struck out twice today. Dodgers with 2 here in the 5th. 2-1. Peterson 225 on the year, 238 with runners in scoring position. $20 home runs and 40 runs batted in. Mets and Nationals scoreless in Washington in the 4th inning. Drilled into right field for a base hit. Rounding third is Rollins on his way home. Throw to the plate, cut off, and the Dodgers take a 3-1 lead. An RBI single to right for Jock Peterson, his 41st run batted into the year.
On his first 2 at-bats, they did a great job on Jock Peterson. Just challenge him with the fastball. His first at-bat, then next at-bat, they start him off with a curveball that freezes them, and then they ended it with a fastball. Well, you know you're going to get here's an off-speed. It's a slider right there. They're trying to get that back door. It gets too much in the middle of the plate, and he stays on it. He's able to get a nice RBI single to right field.
So the Dodgers with 3 runs and 4 hits here in the 5th. Howie Kendrick fouls it off.
You know, that wasn't Jock's full bat speed either. You know, to hit that slider along the way and end up pulling it like that, he was thinking up the middle, thinking stay to the big part of the field. And he didn't pull off that ball. I mean, normally with his normal swing, he's pulling out to first base, and he's missing that pitch.
Which I'm glad, because after striking out the last 2 off
good sign.
on balls on the outer half.
So the Dodgers with 4 hits here in the 5th. Looked like they were swinging with balsa wood the first 4 innings, and they brought out the old maple bats here in the 5th. Alberto Callaspo singled home Grandal, who began the inning with a double. And Rollins would double after Bolsinger struck out. Peterson, the 2-out RBI, and the Dodgers lead by 2. Kendrick 0 for 2 this afternoon. 292 on the year. Howie's been a great clutch hitter all season. 378 with runners in scoring position. Gonzalez on deck. Dodgers with 3 runs and 5 hits here in the 5th. They had 3 runs and 6 hits all last night. Dodgers in a 2-game losing streak. They haven't lost 3 in a row in more than a month. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Kendrick is down on strikes. 9 strikeouts for Tehran, but the Dodgers come up with 3 runs and 4 base hits. Grandal and Callaspo and Rollins and Peterson would knock them in. And at the halfway mark, the Dodgers lead Atlanta 3-1. 3 strikeouts, and now he's got a 2-run lead to work with. And the bottom third of the Atlanta order here in the bottom half of the 5th.
So many things happen when you are down 1-0 and all of a sudden get a 3 spot. Nomar, you talk about the shutdown inning. This is huge, and it's a little easier one because it's at the bottom of the order. The other thing that happens when you've got a 2-run lead, you got different selection of bullpen pieces now that you're in the lead.
Yuri Perez, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat, takes high.
Right now, so far in this game, I think this is the most critical inning.
Once you get the runs, it sure is.
Get the runs, and you got the bottom order of the lineup. You can't lose focus, and you really got to go out there and attack.
1-1 to Perez.
Yeah, this is kind of the inning for Mike Bolsinger. He just empties the tank. Don't look like, oh, I want to get to the 7th. I want to get to the 8th. I got 62 pitches. This is good. Don't coast. No.
Get out of the 5th in one piece.
Yeah, pretend like this is the 9th almost. You're just going for it.
Well, you said with 3 set innings.
Yep.
So this is the second set, middle of it.
Middle of the second set, trying to keep serve.
Yep.
1-2 to Perez. Randall sheds the mask and runs out of room.
But here's where we've seen Mike Bolsinger get ahead 1-2 and not be able to really execute the breaking ball away to a right-handed hitter. Randall usually sets up way low and away, and he's just not able to get it out there. He's still got the ball breaking sharp, but he's got to get it to that outer half.
Andrelton Simmons on deck. A 1-2 from Bolsinger.
Forced him to come in. Bolsinger shook the first fastball in, and then Grandal just put it right back down and said, you're coming in there right here, buddy. We got a waste pitch, and now you can go back to your bread and butter if you want.
On 2-2. Pitch to the glove, down and away, 3-2.
Yeah, he hit the glove, but the ball out of his hand, you see him swatting at it as he catches it. He's staring off in the distance, mad at himself. He's thinking, you know, that ball was never a competitive pitch. Never was a strike.
So in the pecking order, when you're a veteran pitcher and a young catcher, or a veteran catcher and a young pitcher, who really calls the pitch?
It's a relationship that develops, and you butt heads at first, and then you start to either gain confidence in one side of the equation or the other.
Strikeout number 4 for Bolsinger, first out of the 5th.
I think Mike Bolsinger right now is saying, you know what, I have struggled enough over the last 10 starts or so, and I need a new look and a fresh set of signs, and I think he's trusting the catchers a little bit more. And Yasmani has had a strong enough head to force him to throw his fastball today, and it's making his breaking ball better, even though it's not the best one he's had.
So Bolsinger, 4 strikeouts on the day, 75 on the year, 27 walks. So a good strikeout to walk ratio. And into short right, there's Andre Ethier.
And Nomar, you talked about the high fives that Carl Crawford received when he moved over the runner, and then the inning continued and the high fives started to kind of, you know, steamroll, and that ball's coming down the hill, and it's getting. Mike Bolsinger throws up the 0 this inning.
Oh, high fives coming in.
Yep, that whole dugout's going to light up.
Yep.
They're going to think they turned the page on the frustration.
2 out. Tehran takes a strike. To shortstop. And an 11 pitch inning for Bolsinger. Nothing across, and he has retired 9 in a row. We'll go to the 6th. Dodgers 3-1. And it's on Sunday, August the 2nd, when the Dodgers take on the Angels and receive your very own Dodgers cap presented by Security Benefit. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Through 5 innings of play, the Dodgers 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. They've left 2. Atlanta 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and they've left 2. Julio Teheran has struck out 9, a season high. Career high is 11. But the Dodgers, 4 of their 5 hits, they bunched together in the 5th. And they've got the lead with Gonzalez, Ethier, and Grandal coming up. Teheran got through the Dodgers easily through the first 4 innings. 55 pitches, 1 base hit, and 1 walk. And then it came undone in a hurry for him in the 5th inning. So the middle of the Dodger lineup here in the 6th. Gonzalez has a 6-game hitting streak. So he's 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. Mets have a 3-0 lead in the top of the 4th in Washington. If the Mets win today, they'd just be a game behind the Nationals as they get ready to host the Dodgers for 4 beginning tomorrow. What a job Terry Collins has done in New York with a lack of offense. But oh, that rotation is something.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of good arms. The rotation, the bullpen. And they're going to look for a bat or 2 at the deadline.
I read the other day that last week they had thrown more 95 plus miles per hour pitches than anyone in the major leagues by like 900 pitches.
Wasn't even close. Huh?
It wasn't even close. I mean, so they have some power arms in that rotation.
Well, tomorrow night we'll see Bartolo Colon against Clayton Kershaw.
Well, that's one of those young arms.
And old midriffs. I was talking to a scout the other day about Bartolo Colon and the year he has had Gonzalez down on strike. And he asked Colon, said, how is it possible you're able to put on weight during the season? Colon replied, meat and cheese. That's 10 strikeouts for Teheran. It's the first out of the 6th. Greinke and Neese on Friday night. Saturday, don't know yet for the Dodgers against Matt Harvey. And then Jacob deGrom. Harvey's getting all the attention, but deGrom may be the best of the litter.
deGrom is, man,
what nasty.
How about the performance he put on in the All-Star game?
His fastball, his breaking stuff.
Ethier is 0 for 2. It's 0-1 with 1 out in the 6th. Meat and cheese. Whatever works. Grandal on deck, and it's 2-1. The Bartolo Colon diet. Food Channel bringing you the Dodgers and the Braves this afternoon.
They have that up in the menu when you went up. I'll take the cologne right there. Okay.
Yeah, cologne burger.
Supersize it.
Hold the fries, and I'll take a Diet Coke.
Oh, wait, put some more sauce on there. Give me some more processed cheese.
Bon appetit, my friends. 3-1 with 1 out in the 6th. And Ethier works out a walk. That's the second walk Tehran's given up.
What are we going to do with Andre Ethier when Puig's back? What are we going to do when Crawford's back? Well, he's 4th on the team in average. He's 4th on the team in on-base percentage. That walk helps. Julian Tehran, you're looking at his workload throughout the day there. Those 83 pitches and 10 strikeouts.
That 20-pitch second inning, he gave up just 1 hit, walked the batter. Could have been worse. Grandal got picked off at second base. But then in the 5th, when he threw 19 pitches, that's when the Dodgers came up with their 3 runs and 4 hits. They've got 5 hits on the ball game.
It's not a real comfortable at bat for Tehran right here. The way Grandal has squared him up.
Hard single to right and a hard double to right. 2 for 2 Grandal at 288.
Grandal takes a 2-day respite after getting drilled on the chin with a foul tip. He comes back and starts putting the hurt on the ball.
Crawford on deck. Ethier the lead at first. Crawford's first start in 2.5 months.
Will A.J. Brzezinski behind the plate force Tehran to throw something off speed in this fastball count to a fastball hitter that's been squaring him up? Are they going to try and trick him, or are they going to go strength against strength?
Brzezinski's caught more games than any other active catcher.
Forcing him to go strength against strength, but Tehran's heart was not in it. He fell off the first base side. He didn't want to even see where that one ended up. Really? You want me to throw a fastball away to this guy?
Have you not seen his last 2 at-bats where he's dented the ball?
Three and one. The runner goes. Ball 4. So the Dodgers now 1st and 2nd with 1 man out here in the 6th. Lefty Ross Detweiler is now warming in the Atlanta bullpen. Roger McDowell's going to go out and have a chat. Carl Crawford is coming up.
Well, now Carl gets to kind of hit for himself. He did the job for the team, moving the runner over to 3rd in his last at bat. And it broke the ice from the 75 game misses with the first at bat with the strikeout. But here, got his legs under him, probably got his game face back on fully intact, and he's got a nice situation to hit in for himself.
So Crawford struck out in his first at-bat, bounced to first in his second at-bat, but it was a productive at-bat after Grandal had that leadoff double. Grandal would go to 3rd, come around to score on a Callaspo single. The Dodgers 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position this afternoon, and he rolls it to second base. There is 1, and there is 2, and that is that. Dodgers get a couple of free passes, can't do a thing with them. No runs, no hits to the man left after 5.5. Dodgers 3 and the Braves 1.
talked about is catching up to the fact that he's throwing all breaking balls, especially in fastball counts. Yasmani Grandal and AJL is now starting to force him to throw the fastball. And you know what? The more he throws it, the better he's getting convicted to it and hitting his spots. Even when he misses, he keeps it in the hitter's head. Here to Perez, it's down and in. He doesn't miss out over the plate where the mistakes have been when he gets hurt. He's thrown the ball very well. Over the last 2 innings, only taken 24 pitches to get through him. The 3rd inning alone took him 23. That put the pitch count back in order.
He's retired 9 straight, 11 pitches in the 5th inning. We were talking about Bolsinger at the beginning of the broadcast, how important it was not only for him to give them quality today, but quantity. And here he is beginning the 6th inning. Jace Peterson, 0 for 1 and a sacrifice. Robbed of a base hit by Howie Kendrick in the 1st inning. Just as he was on a very similar play in the series opener on Monday. The only run that Bolsinger's given up today, an unearned run. Bolsinger's 74th pitch. Here's Kendrick, a little more routine. 10 in a row retired by Bolsinger now.
Mike Bolsinger had the tone set for the game on the very first play. We talked about with Jace Peterson, and Howie Kendrick's working on an 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, but he's been involved in a lot of plays. 5 assists today already.
Cameron Maybin, 1 for 2. Drove in a run on a ground out fielder's choice. He takes outside. Maybin at 285, 8 home runs, 45 runs batted in. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Bolsinger wants to get back in sync with his catcher, so he steps off the rubber.
76 pitches, 1 out in the 6th. He's really doing his job.
Right at Kendrick. 12 straight.
You watch your team have their lead shrink to 2.5 games. The Giants win. You'll lose a possible piece in the rotation, and Brett Anderson at least maybe missing the turn. We don't know for sure. The team's got a chance to get swept. You haven't really been throwing that well. Your last outing got cut short because the lights went out and you only got to go 4. You step into a hot, sweltering Atlanta heat, and you know what? You blow your neck and put the zeros up there that he has. He's been outstanding.
Well, so far, I really like this second set of 3 right here, innings.
Well, the next set of 3 innings, if he can get out of this inning, he should throw every pitch like it's his last one of the game, because he's going to have every bullpen piece in every matchup the way Don Mattingly wants it. They'll have people behind him every toss.
You know, we talked about the lights going out on him and shortening that outing, and you know, a couple of them he's also been shortened because of where he is in the lineup and where the team is not going to pinch hit. You know, he is going to be up 3rd the next inning.
Kendrick has done it again from his knees, and he throws out Markakis. Howie Kendrick, another spectacular play. 12 in a row now retired by Bolsinger. Robbery committed by Kendrick. 3rd play just like that this series. pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. Alberto Callaspo, Jimmy Rollins, and Mike Bolsinger will bat. Been a solid afternoon for Yasmani Grandal. 2 for 2. Runs scored, walked, and has caught a terrific game for Mike Bolsinger, who has given up an unearned run and 3 base hits through 6. And Tehran has struck out a season high 10. Dodgers put all of their runs together in the 5th inning, and 4 of their 5 base hits. Callaspo had 1 of them and scored a run in the 5th inning. Of the 89 pitches, 56 have been for strikes for Tehran. So Callaspo starting this afternoon. Justin Turner, day game after night game, with the day off. Turner continues his hot hitting, and he and the Mets fly up to New York after this game. 4-game series. The Mets have a 3-1 lead at Nationals Park in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Looped into left, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. So Callaspo, 2 for 2 and a walk.
Callaspo does a good job just kind of throwing the hands on this breaking ball, staying inside the ball, just kind of almost just like placed it over there to left field. We talk about Callaspo being able to handle the bat. Takes a fastball in the first pitch, but here's that breaking ball, goes to the middle plate, he doesn't pull off of it. And just almost like, talk about just playing pepper, just throwing the barrel at the ball, making sure you make solid contact. That's what he does, gets a nice hit.
Callaspo, his 16th start with the Dodgers. Now here's Rollins, who doubled in a run and scored in the 3-run 5th. Jimmy at 205, 8 home runs and 30 runs batted in. The Dodgers with the bullpen being as iffy as it has been the past couple of months. I'd love to stack on as many insurance runs as they can here. So in the last 2 months, since the middle of May, the Dodger bullpen earned run average is .455. On May the 15th, the Dodger bullpen ERA was .228. So altogether now it's 3 2/3. So it's been tough the past couple of months. Nice play by Jansen, and now Callaspo caught in a rundown, and there's nothing he can do about it. All Kelly Johnson on that play.
And a 3 unassisted on Jimmy Rollins, and then the 3 to 6 double play on the tag. Callaspo does his best deke, but gets called out on the tag or even going out of the baseline. And it gets tagged.
So Freddie Gonzalez has used 3 different first basemen in this series. Of course, their best, Freddie Freeman, sidelined with a bad wrist. He's missed a month, and they're not quite sure when he'll be back. Bolsinger 0 for 2 has been struck out twice. Gonzalez and the coaching staff have had their contracts extended another year and an option to boot. In the process of rebuilding, renovating, rebooting, whatever it is, a lot of re's for John Hart and the Atlanta Braves. There's Carlos Tosca, Roger McDowell.
There's always been a lot of stability in Atlanta with who's in charge from the years of Bobby Cox and John Schuerholz, and now John Schuerholz is above John Hart. I know Frank Wren has left, but they don't like to change.
And the fellow on top of it all is Stan Kasten. Well, Stan is going to be in Cooperstown this weekend as John Smoltz is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz will be reunited in upstate New York.
And there's not one controversial call among those three. They all belong there. They put some of the best pitching runs together as a group and individually as you'll ever see.
And our friend Dick Enberg will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the Ford Frick wing. And Bobby Cox, Smoltz.
It'll be a fun speech to hear, Bobby Cox's speech.
You have my man Pedro Martinez getting inducted as well.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that'll be an interesting speech, too.
Randy Johnson will take pictures. Strike 3. That ends the inning. It's 11 strikeouts for Tehran. No runs and a hit. Nobody left. 7th inning stretch down. The Dodgers cling to a 3-1 lead. Dodger fans on this Wednesday matinee have had plenty to cheer about after 6.5. Bolsinger and the Dodgers a 3-1 lead. Bolsinger has struck out 4, hasn't walked anybody. 81 pitches, 56 for strikes through his first 6 innings of work. And he'll be facing Johnson and Jansen and Przinsky. Beginning with Kelly, then Chris. Kelly Johnson, 1 for 2, single to right, and has been struck out. So Bolsinger giving the Dodgers just what they wanted and needed. Now to get through the 7th.
Got to keep in your mind that your job's not over. You can't set the table for Atlanta thinking I've finished my work. Bear down throw. Every pitch like it's your last one and just try and retire one batter at a time.
Johnson 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Into center field, drifting on back. Jock Peterson. 13 in a row have now been retired by Mike Bolsinger.
He's done a good job. I mean, even with that one right there, that's just the 3rd ball that's gone out of the infield over the last 3 1/3 innings. And he's also benefited from some nice defense behind him, but it's also kudos to him throwing strikes.
Chris Johnson 0 for 2 has struck out and flied to right. Takes a strike. It's 0-1.
I really think the key for Mike today has been mistake-free fastballs. Right there, outer half, a nice 0-1 pitch on the edge. A, he's not missing out over the middle of the plate, and B, he's actually throwing some strikes, so he's got another pitch that the hitters have to put in their head, which gets them off of the other pitches.
Well, yeah, you're coming in, and your scouting report is, well, he pitches backwards. It's going to be a lot of breaking balls, more breaking balls than fastballs. So you're going, all right, well, let me look for that breaking ball. And then all of a sudden he's throwing more fastballs, and it's not just fastballs to get me so he can set up the breaking ball. He's throwing them for strikes. Now what am I going to look for?
On 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Purpose pitch right there. That was right where he wanted. High, hard fastball, change the eye line of the hitter. Now you can either double up, come fastball strike on a corner, or you can throw the breaking ball. Traditional sequence right there. 0-2 high fastball, come back with the breaking ball.
And I think Yasmani's done a good job. You mentioned how even sometimes he's forcing him to throw that fastball. Well, when you have a book on a pitcher, your scouting report, where he likes to throw a lot of curveballs, so when he's shaking, you're going, oh, he's shaking to the curveball because that's his comfort pitch. Where other guys are like, he's shaking to the fastball.
Up in the air, into short center. Kendrick. Bolsinger, guy, I don't know, he's thrown anything above 88 today. You would think the preponderance of breaking balls that he has thrown, that's his bread and butter, he'd be giving up a lot of home runs. He's given up 3 all year, and he has struck out 75 on the season, walked 27, so he's got a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
A.J. Przinsky creeping up in the box as the pitch, as Mike Bolsinger was in his delivery. Starting in the back, and he just started sliding.
3rd round pick of the Twins in 1994, A.J. Przinsky.
He was smart on AJ's spot on his part, going, okay, here's the adjustment. Maybe that's that breaking ball. Maybe I can try to get it out in front, move it.
Now, Charlie, you're talking about the preponderance of breaking balls from Bolsinger, not giving up home runs. His curveball reminds me a little bit of an '88 world champion that we had in the bullpen, Brian Holt. And it's one of those optical illusion curveballs. You really just can't figure out when it's going to break or where it's going to break. So even when he hangs it, it's hard to get a read on it.
And throws a 3-0 curve to Przinsky for a strike. And that is the first walk Bolsinger has given up all day. And after retiring 14 straight, a 2-out walk to A.J. Przinsky.
What's interesting is Bolsinger was jawing over there in the Braves dugout for something.
Well, I think when he throws the 3-0 curveball and then the 3-1 curveball, somebody was over there is yelling, challenge him, so they're yelling at him. But
now you even got Hirschbeck yelling at, I think it's Maben over there in the Braves dugout.
Bill Welke wears those shoulder pads like he's ready to be a nose tackle. And now Honeycutt's going to go out and have a chat with Bolsinger and buy some time.
Rick's probably made a little bit of a phone call down to their bullpen to get somebody up and stretching. I don't see a lot of action down there yet, but this is also to refocus Mike Bolsinger after the John with the Atlanta dugout. We see Baez getting up now.
J.P. Howell stretching out. There's a lot of chirping going on between Bolsinger and somebody in the Braves dugout. I don't know if it was Maben or who, but
I don't know. That's some inside information we're going to have to get after the game, maybe report back later. Some part of the inside game as far as the communication between the two teams is derailed.
Yuri Perez with 2 out. He's been struck out twice by Bolsinger. No balls and 1 strike to Perez. 19 for 70. That's a 271 average. Saw some time with the Yankees last year. Bolsinger now closing in on 100 pitches. Perez, tough play. Callaspo gets him by a step. A beautiful barehanded play by the former Brave third baseman, Alberto Callaspo. No runs, no hits, a walk, and a man left. Callaspo with the play. The inning is over, and we go to the top of the 8th. Deal that sent Uribe to the Braves. Makes a terrific barehanded play, getting the speedy Yuri Perez in the 7th inning, worthy of the Morongo slow-mo cam. And Callaspo today, above and beyond what he has done defensively, is 2 for 2, an RBI and a run scored. Here's Ross Detweiler. So Tehran's day is done. It's only been about a week since Detweiler has arrived, and he will be facing the top of the Dodgers order as we go to the 8th. Tehran goes 7 innings, 3 runs, and 6 hits. Struck out a season high 11, walked 3. 101 pitches, 62, 4 strikes. Top of the order for the Dodgers, Jock Peterson, Howie Kendrick, and Adrian Gonzalez. And if anybody gets on, Ethier after that. And thus Detweiler's appearance. One ball and no strikes. Into short left center. Maben calls off Simmons. Big day for Howie Kendrick, not at the plate, but out in the field. First play of the game, he robs Jace Peterson. And then spinning and making a terrific throw. And then again a diving stop, robbing Markakis. So 3 outstanding defensive gems turned in by Kendrick.
He's a big reason why Bolsinger has done a tremendous job so far in this game. The defense has been tremendous behind him.
So he's been busy with the glove. .291 with 7 home runs and 40 runs batted in for Howie Kendrick with Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Three balls and no strikes. Three and one. Now with the Dodgers up 3-1. Top half of the 8th. Bolsinger to this point has thrown 98 pitches. The most he has thrown all season was 101. That was on the 5th of July. So if we see him in the 8th, for how long? A 1-out walk to Kendrick, and Gonzalez coming up.
If he comes out of the dugout and goes out there, they'll have somebody thrown alongside him right away.
Batter to batter.
For sure.
But he has given the Dodgers everything they could have hoped for and then some today. The only run for Atlanta, an unearned run. Adrian Gonzalez takes high and away. Gonzalez 0 for 3, has a 6-game hitting streak on the line. Bottom of the 5th in Washington, the Mets lead the Nationals 3-1. Giants and Padres a little later on. Matt Cain and James Shields. The Giants have won 7 of their last 8, just 2.5 behind the Dodgers. Ethier next. 2-1. It is Juan Nicasio. Chuck Krim is a bullpen coach, and he's sweating to death. .87 degrees at game time, 55% humidity.
Well, the way these bullpens here in Atlanta are wedged into the stands, you don't get a lot of breeze down in those bullpens at all. It gets stifling and suffocating. Sometimes they have fans up in the corners just to circulate some of the air.
Gonzalez down on strikes, 2 out. Well, trying to cool off the customers as best they can. Now Scott Van Slyke's going to pinch hit for Andre Ethier. Let's see if Freddie Gonzalez has a counter move. So Van Slyke thought he was going to have a busman's holiday today. And now here comes Freddie Gonzalez. So in fact there will be the counter move. So Van Slyke, as soon as he has announced a pinch hit for Ethier, out comes Freddie Gonzalez, and he will take Detweiler back with him. 2 out, runner at first, top of the 8th. Dodgers 3, Atlanta 1. AA Oklahoma City. The 24-year-old right-hander. From the Cubs to the Mariners to the Yankees, and briefly with the Dodgers. He is first in the Baseball Encyclopedia, AA RD SMA, in front of Hank and Tommy Aaron. Now, it was an interesting way to begin the day for Van Slyke. He exchanged the batting cards with Freddie Gonzalez out on the hill, and Turner and Puig couldn't quite believe they gave him all that responsibility, but they did, and now more responsibility, pinch hitting for Ethier with 2 out. So righty against righty, and here is Artsma with Kendrick leading off first. The Dodgers leading 3-1, 2 out in the top half of the 8th inning.
Very rarely have you not hit in the game but been to the plate. This will be your second time.
1 ceremonial, 1 official.
I don't think Don Mattingly wanted to deliver the card to this umpiring crew. And I think also a little superstition in trying to win a game here in Atlanta. Sending up a different body.
And Van Slyke, being Van Slyke, was perfect for the role.
He does have a good sense of humor.
Son of Andy, grew up in St. Louis. 1 ball and 1 strike. Grandal on deck. Ocasio warms in the Dodger bullpen. Pitch out, nothing doing.
I don't know if they've read the scouting report on our offense.
Howie
we don't put guys in action real loud.
Yeah, well, Howie's been jumping around over there. That's why they were really paying attention.
That's the extent of us stealing a base, though.
Yeah,
jumping
you're
around.
right. You're right. Well, we like to put pressure on.
Hey, he's stolen 20% of the bases for this team. Dodgers have stolen 19 bases on the year, and Kendrick is 4 out of 6. Count is 3-1 to Van Slyke.
A lot of times when a guy's pinch hitting for a pitcher, you don't steal because you don't want to lose the bat. But here, you might.
Kendrick goes. It's ball 4.
Because Van Slyke's going to stay in the game and play defense. So even if Howie would have gotten thrown out, he's still going to be in the game. He still get the lead off next inning.
And now Grandal has walked and hit the ball right on the schnoz twice. Single to right in the 2nd inning, and a line drive double over right fielder Nick Markakis' head in the 5th. That would begin the 3-run 5th inning rally for the Dodgers, who lead 3-1 with 2 out and 2 on here in the 8th inning. Crawford on deck. He'd love to get a shot at it here in the 8th. So Artsma, who began the year at AAA, then had an out in his clause if he wasn't called up by a certain date, exercised it, then was able to hook on with Atlanta. He's pitched well here. This is his 17th appearance. An ERA of .230, 18 strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Yasmani Grandal. .14 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Grandal awaits the 1-2. A breakout year for Yasmani Grandal. First All-Star game, Got 2 runners aboard. Down on strikes. So Ardsma strikes out Grandal. The Dodgers get a couple of walks, leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Dodgers. Both starting pitchers did their jobs. Tehran, a season-high 11 strikeouts. Bolsinger, whose day is now done, gave up an unearned run and 3 hits. Dodgers bunched 4 hits together for a 3-run 5th inning. Van Slyke, who came in to pinch hit for Ethier, stays in the game in right field. And Juan Nicasio is now on in relief. The Dodger bullpen, which has been an iffy proposition really in the last couple of months. Now they have to come up with 3 outs to get to Kenley Jansen into the 9th inning.
Yeah, the key for Juan right here, fill up the strike zone. You're walking almost a batter every other inning. 42 strikeouts, 19 walks. Well, with a 2-run lead, pitch to the edges. Let's attack early in the strike zone or early in the count. Hopefully then finish them off.
Nicasio pitched on Monday night. 2 innings, struck out 2, gave up a hit. Joey Trdoslavich is in the on-deck circle. But his friends call him Joey T because it's a lot easier. Andrelton Simmons 1 for 2. Scored Atlanta's only run. Nicasio delivers a strike with some mustard on it. And it's 0-1. Now it's 0-2. So Andrelton Simmons, one of the true upper echelon defensive shortstops in the game. And hitting a solid .256 for Atlanta. One and 2. Mets 3-1 over the Nationals, bottom of the 6th in D.C. Nicasio, bare hands, throws low, and there is Adrian Gonzalez. Didn't look like Nicasio got a good grip on the ball.
He may not have. He jumps off the mound, chooses to barehand the ball, recognizing he's probably going to have to get rid of it quick. Gosh, Adrian Gonzalez over there just makes it look so easy. Just picking this one right out of the dirt as if it was not. He picks it out of the dirt as if it was thrown right at his chest. Like it was a perfect throw to him.
Him at first base is like there's a nice easy chopper and quickly 2 out. I was going to say, when you've got a terrific defensive catcher, a pitcher is not the least bit hesitant to throw a slider with runners on board because you know they're going to block it or catch it. Adrian's the same way as the first baseman.
First baseman like Adrian. We've been talking about the defense with the Dodgers, although struggling these last few days, still have the highest fielding percentage in the NL, fewest amount of errors. But a big reason is because you have a first baseman like that.
Two out, nobody on, and Jace Peterson takes a strike. Peterson 0 for 2 and a sacrifice. Nicasio 2/3 of the way through the 8th inning. And ahead, 0-2.
Other than the ball jumping out of Jimmy Rollins' glove on the Butcher Boy play from Tehran, this has been a very crisp game played by the Dodgers. A lot of defensive gems by Howie Kendrick at second. An offense that played small ball.
And Nicasio retires the Braves in order, striking out Peterson to end the 8th. We go to the 9th inning. Dodgers 3-1. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Arodys Vizcaíno to pitch the 9th inning. Vizcaíno pitched an inning on Monday night. No runs and a hit. Carl Crawford in his first game back, 0 for 3. But after a leadoff double in the 5th inning by Yasmani Grandal, he bounced to the right side of the infield. That got Grandal to third. Callaspo would single home Grandal. Rollins would double home Callaspo. And Peterson would single home Rollins. All 3 runs and 4 of the 6 hits by the Dodgers came in the 5th inning. Bolsinger, it was terrific. 1 unearned run, 3 hits in 7 innings. Nicasio retired the Braves in order with a strikeout in the bottom of the 8th. And it's 0-1 to Crawford as we begin the 9th. One and one.
This Galleno with that free and easy arm action and smooth 96 coming out of there.
Out of the Dominican Republic.
That's just disgusting.
96.
Just to be able to throw that hard, that easy.
That easy.
Yeah.
Just the lever system.
Wait till he really tries.
He's just 24. Signed when he was 17 as a non-drafted free agent by the Yankees. Into left center, that's Yuri Perez. Once a Yankee. 1 out, nobody on in the 9th. The Braves will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters to bat in the home half. Maben, Markakis, and Kelly Johnson.
If I woke up any day and could throw 96, I would think I could get the world out.
Hitters would adjust.
With movement.
Kenley Jansen warming in the Dodger bullpen. $24,112 watching today. It's about what the Braves average per game this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Callaspo, 2 for 3 and a walk, a run scored, an RBI, and a terrific barehanded play on an infield.
That was a huge play, Charlie.
No,
that was huge. Mike Bolsinger had an amazing outing, but some of those defensive plays really cemented him emotionally and pitch count wise. Just kind of stopping anything that looked like it could turn into a rally.
Yuri Perez tried to bunt for a base hit with a runner on first, 2 out in the 7th. And Callaspo, who's played third base here in Atlanta, came over in the trade for Uribe. Made the barehanded play. But down on strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. So 2 out in the 9th, and Jimmy Rollins coming up. Rollins doubled in that 3-run 5th, scored a run, and drove in his 30th of the year. That was a free and easy 96. One ball, 1 strike. Giants and Padres get underway in about an hour. 2-1. Giants have won 7 of 8. Dodgers 2-3 on the road trip so far. To first base. That had a lot of spin on it. And Rollins is on his way to second base, and he will make it.
Good job at Rollins reading that ball, reading the air, running hard. So this is easy to just give up and say, okay, it gets by him. I'm just going to be on first base. But he recognizes that it kicks kind of over in that corner over there, the triangle, where nobody's really there to get it. Not an easy ball to get. So he takes off and gets that extra base. Good hustle by Rollins.
And Yasiel Puig called on to pinch hit. Puig, knowing that Crawford was going to return to the lineup today, Mattingly figured several days in advance this would be a good day to give Puig the afternoon off. And Yasiel with the home run last night, his 5th of the year. So let's see what the Dodgers can do with 2 out and Rollins a gift base runner at second base.
The way Yasiel has been swinging the bat, Vizcaino misses on the inner half. That's right where Yasiel's sweet spot is right now. Could turn that 96, 97 around.
This was last night in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. Ouch.
You see where that pitch is. So Vizcaino's fastball, being a right-hander, would tail into that location.
It sounded that loud up here last night when he made contact. And Brzezinski at 37 thinks, I need this.
After one of these on the lower part of the mass the other day, Yasmani Grandal had to take a couple days off.
Oh.
Wow. 96. Off the face. You got sunglasses on. You got all of that. Oh. I bet you that. I wonder if that mass. He might have to get rid of that mass after today's game because it probably has a little dent. You know, those wires they bent. It's not like they never bent.
He's hearing organ grinder music. 1-1 to Puig with Rollins leading off second, 2 out in the 9th. Slider at 83, and Puig nearly came out of his shoes. Peterson on deck. Into center, and Maben is there. That'll do it. Kenley Jansen getting ready, trying to nail down his 17th save of the season. Middle of the order for the Braves in the bottom of the 9th. Stays in the game. He'll go to right. Van Slyke, who had been right, will move to left. And Kenley Jansen is now on in relief, his 24th appearance. In search of his 17th save, he's been good in 16 of 17 tries. 41 strikeouts and 22 2/3, and opposing hitters hitting a .152 against him.
Beginning of the day, if you're the Dodgers, this is the inning you were looking for. You weren't probably real confident that it would happen this easily. Mike Bolsinger really put them on the right track. Juan Nicasio, a nice smooth inning in the 8th, and now to get the ball to Kenley in the ninth with a chance to avoid the sweep with a 2-run lead. Mission accomplished. 3 outs to go.
Stop the bleeding a little bit and put the Giants on notice. The Giants have won 7 of 8, have moved to within 2.5 of the Dodgers. And if Jansen can get the job done, the flight up to New York may not be any faster, but it'll be a whole lot smoother. Cameron Maybin, 1 for 3. His fielder's choice ground out in the third drove in the only run of the day for Atlanta, and that was an unearned run at that. Bolsinger, terrific. No earned runs, 3 hits. And Jansen frustrated, falling behind 2-0.
See Kenley out there manicuring the mound. That is one of the hazards of being a reliever, and especially a closer. A lot of different guys have been on that hill, and you're not getting a fresh footing.
Three balls, no strikes. Only 1 walk given up by Dodger pitching today. That was to Przinsky by Bolsinger. There's 1, 3-1. "41 strikeouts and 2 walks for Kenley Jansen in 22 2/3 innings. And that's a 3rd walk he's given up all year. A leadoff walk in the bottom of the 9th.
That stings. Maybe the anger or adrenaline that he's feeling out there as he continues to manicure the mound. There's something with the footing he doesn't like. That's the most this year that I've ever seen him work on a mound. I mean, he's becoming his own ground screw out there. Big man like him puts a lot of pressure into the dirt. And
Oro, can you call timeout and ask them to manicure the mound a little bit?
He could ask for it.
Nick Markakis is 0 for 3. Bounced to Kendrick 3 times into a double play in the first inning. Routine play in the 3rd inning. And yet another spectacular play turned in by Kendrick in the 6th inning. Dodgers lead 3-1, bottom of the 9th. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. So Markakis at 289 hit his first home run of the season in the first game. Hadn't hit one since late September of last year over the center field wall a couple of games back. To third base, look at Callaspo. Can he make the play? Yes, and a terrific scoop at the other end by Adrian Gonzalez.
Just what a play, and a play that the Dodgers needed. Because you see Kenley Jansen obviously struggling. We talked about the mound, walking the first batter, and then you're like, oh no, here it looks like it's going to be a double down the line. Callaspo robs him. Diving play, and then just another routine now that we're calling it because he makes it look so easy at first base. The way Gonzalez just picks that ball, picks him up. Hopefully that can just get Kenley back on track and feeling okay, energized, and go out there and start attacking the hitters.
2/3 of the way, or actually 1/3 of the way through the 9th. Kelly Johnson 1 for 3. No balls, 1 strike. Johnson single to right's been struck out and flied to center.
Dodgers playing no doubles in center field and right field, trying to eliminate the loop base hit in left, playing a little shallower out there, but any ball hit to the outfield is immediately going to second base to keep the tying run off the middle of the diamond.
Johnson with 9 home runs on the year. 2-1.
And what you don't see is, you see Adrian Gonzalez hugging the line for no doubles, but we have Callaspo off the line. He's not playing that no doubles down the line. Obviously, the lefty, they feel that he's more pull and playing the percentages where he can't get one down that line.
1 out in the 9th. Jansen and the Dodgers nursing a 2-run lead. 2-2. Guess who's in the on-deck circle? Juan Uribe. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. Dodgers 3-1. Jansen's 12th pitch. Got him.
Really nice pitch. Not making a mistake with that. Get ahead. Throwing his conventional cutter, but keeping it away from the left-hander, not playing for a possible pull home run. Make him beat you to the big side of the yard.
So here is Uribe. Since coming to the Braves, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in, hitting .287. One ball, no strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Uribe with an RBI last night. And an RBI on Monday night. Braves have had only 3 runners in scoring position today. They're 0 for 3. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers 1 strike away from boarding the charter with 54 wins. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. 9th inning. Maben leads from second. Here's the pitch. 2-2.
I like the thought. I like the execution. Went to the slider. I like just putting that in the back of his mind, and I like the fact that he made sure he didn't hang it, because that's right into Juan's swing. But use it. Don't make a mistake with it. Comes to cutter away, I would think.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 9th. Jansen to Uribe. Do it again. Przynski on deck. Now Jansen getting the sign from Grandal. 2-2, 2 out. Here's the pitch. 3-2.
It's a good take by Juan Uribe. He's pretty much in the back of his mind, pretty sure he's going to get a cutter and pretty sure it's going to be away. A good read on that pitch, not jumping out at it.
Jansen, the big deep breath. The sign from Grandal. The 3-2 to Uribe. Got him! And the Dodgers hang on and beat the Braves 3-1. For Bolsinger, his 5th win. For Jansen, his 17th save. The Dodgers improved their record to 54 and 42. 12 over 500. At the moment, a 3-game lead over the Giants. Next stop, New York. Now it's time for the Lexus Player of the Game. And what a performance this afternoon by Mike Bolsinger. 1 run, none earned, 3 hits in 7 innings, 4 strikeouts, and 1